Birmingham City wanted him, Glasgow Rangers wanted him, and according to his agent, 26 clubs at home and abroad wanted him. But it's instead Queen's Park Rangers that 23-year-old Kwame Poku has chosen to join upon expiry of his Peterborough contract, with the Posh reportedly set to receive somewhere in the region of 900,000 plus add-ons in compensation under the Bosman ruling. Touted as one of League One's most exciting up-and-coming prospects, this may not only be one of QPR's most promising deals in years, but one of the championship signings of the summer. I'm Connor, aka Hoopsa. On this channel I talk all things QPR, and in this transfer deep dive I'm going to be discussing all of those topics and more, so let's get stuck in. Kwame Poku was born on the 11th of August 2001 in Croydon, England, to Ghanaian parents, and his footballing story to date has already seen him rise from non-league to the country's second tier. Spending his youth at Chislehurst Cray Wanderers, Poku made his first team debut at 17 before joining Worthing in the Isthmian League in 2019. The young winger didn't spend long on the south coast though, because after scoring twice in 12 appearances in the final 3 months of the 2018-19 season, he signed his first ever professional contract with League Two Colchester United in May 2019, following a successful trial. And it's safe to say he didn't have any problems adapting to this new level. On the 3rd of September 2019, he bagged his first ever professional assist on his club debut in a 3-2 EFL Trophy win over Gillingham, and by the end of the month he'd scored his first ever professional goal, bagging the opener in Colchester's 2-1 league home win over Leyton Orient. Come December that same year, with the 18-year-old having already added another goal and 3 assists to his tally, Colchester pinned him down on a new 2.5-year deal. He went on to make a total of 38 appearances in all competitions that season, racking up 5 goals and 4 assists as a first-team regular in a side that finished 6th in League Two. The young winger then played every minute of both playoff semi-final legs with Exeter City, the U's eventually losing 3-2 on aggregate in extra time. The following 2021 season was a much more challenging one for both Poku and Colchester. The loss of head coach John McGreal and release of a number of first teamers due to financial constraints saw Colchester fall immediately from promotion seekers to relegation battlers, and Poku faced obstacles of his own. After a breakout first season, he became a marked man in a lot of matches, and the loss of a number of key players meant he was required to play a much deeper role. Both of those challenges meant that in his second season with the club, his attacking contributions declined to 1 goal and 3 assists in 33 appearances. Evidently though, neither of these things were problems for outside admirers. In March 2021, he was called up for Ghana for the first time for their AFCON qualifiers against South Africa and Sao Tome and Principe, earning his first senior cap as a late substitute for Mohamed Kudus in a 3-1 win over the latter. His reduction in attacking returns didn't seem to impact his suitors at club level either, because after finishing 20th and avoiding relegation with the U's in League Two, freshly promoted to the Championship, Peterborough United came calling. He put pen to paper on a 4-year contract on the 2nd of August for a reported fee of 250 grand plus add-ons. As you'd expect, having stepped up 2 leagues at once though, the winger's minutes were limited during his first season with the Posh. Manager Darren Ferguson handed him his debut in late September as a second half sub in a 3-0 loss away at Coventry, but with the club fighting and eventually failing to secure their championship survival over the course of the season, his minutes were limited to 1,200 over 23 appearances in all competitions, though he did still manage to claim 2 second-tier assists before the season was out. Playing in League One for the first time in the following 2022-23 season, it didn't take long for Poku to finally make his mark at his new club. 7 league fixtures into the season, Grant McCann gave him his first start of the campaign, and the manager's faith was quickly rewarded with 2 assists against Port Vale 2 games later. And in his next 4 starts, the winger would grab another 3 goal involvements. From that point onwards, Poku remained a Peterborough regular. Over the course of the season, he would make a total of 44 appearances in all competitions, producing a career best 6 goals and providing 9 assists as the club finished 6th under returning manager Darren Ferguson. Getting another taste of the playoffs, this time a league higher than with Colchester, Poku played a full 90 and scored in the first semi-final leg 4-0 home thrashing of Sheffield Wednesday. But the Owls' remarkable 4-0 win back at Hillsborough and eventual penalty shootout success would deny Poku and Peterborough an instant return to the Championship. Despite the setback at club level, over the past 2 seasons he's continued to find new levels. In 23-24 he topped his previous attacking returns with 12 goals and 8 assists in 49 appearances. And while Peterborough finished in the playoffs for a 2nd year running and once again lost their semi-final clash, this time to Oxford United, the winger and his side didn't finish the season empty-handed thanks to a 2-1 win over Wycombe Wanderers in the EFL Trophy final, during which he played a full 90 minutes. Remarkably, despite Peterborough then losing the core of that winning side last summer, including one Ronnie Edwards, and Poku himself missing over a third of the season due to a hamstring injury, He once again beat his personal record with 12 goals and 11 assists in just 31 games last season, and 15 of those 23 goal involvements came in the first 18 matches of the season alone. Prior to injury, he was the standout League One player. And although Peterborough's league fortunes did take a hit as a result of losing vital players, finishing 18th, Poku and his side pulled off a second consecutive EFL trophy win, beating Birmingham 2-0 in the final. There were plenty of other accolades to go with his second career medal too. He swept up at Peterborough's end of season awards, winning Junior Posh Player of the Season, Players Player of the Season and the Forever Posh Player of the Season, and as well as 2 League One Player of the Month awards over the course of the season, he was named in the League One Team of the Year. And that takes us to the present, where after being the inevitable subject of great interest from across the EFL and beyond, especially given his contract was up with Peterborough, Kwame Poku has, very surprisingly I must say, now agreed to join Julian Stephan's Queen Park Rangers side for a reported compensation fee of around 900 grand plus add-ons under the Bosman ruling. So before we get into what we think about this signing, what kind of player is he exactly, and what can Ars fans expect from him in the 25-26 season? Well, without wanting to sound too dramatic here, everything I've seen and read suggests that he looks every bit the archetypal Queen's Park Rangers winger we could want. Coming in at 5'10", Poku is a dynamic, tricky, pacey and explosive left-footed right winger, one that is extremely capable of beating his man, unlocking defences, and crucially, scoring and assisting plenty of goals. Let's start with his ball control and dribbling, the latter of which he was in the top 4.1% of for players of his kind last season. His control and movement in tight pockets is exceptional, whether that's out wide by the line or inside, and while he's left-footed, he's very comfortable with the ball on his right, which allows him to cut in dangerously and unexpectedly on his strong foot at the last second, and it means he can also play out on the left or in the middle if ever needed to. Poku loves a drop of the shoulder, a feint or quick step overs, but according to Up the Poshcast, it's his trademark ball roll, using his right foot to guide the ball across to his left and cut inside or wrong foot a defender, that is his trademark move. His bursts of speed over short distances and knock-ons are also tools he regularly uses to exploit fullbacks, but for me it's his vision and creativity that sets him aside from his peers. He can do all of the above, but he has a very keen eye for a through ball, and that means he won't just repeatedly try and burn his man for pace, which makes him all the more unpredictable. And to top it all off, as I say, this is a winger that actually has end product. He's very comfortable in front of goal, he can finish with power and finesse, and he's especially effective at timing late runs into the box and picking up loose balls around the penalty area. But that didn't stop him from grabbing a couple of peaches outside of the box last season either. Naysayers will be quick to point out that many players, especially wingers, can score in League One but can't replicate that in the Championship. It's a valid doubt for any player, but over the past 2 seasons, Poku has repeatedly bettered his own tally. And the fact he hit his career best last season in a considerably weakened Peterborough side, despite missing a third of it, suggests he's very much ready to smash through to the next level. So what are the 23-year-old's downsides? Well, the most glaring of all is that hamstring injury last season, which kept him out of the team from early December to early March and required major surgery. Up the Poshcast say that his acceleration and ability to get around the pitch noticeably declined on his return, though they did suggest this was down to a lack of trust and confidence in his hamstring rather than long-lasting physical damage, and he still managed to amass 5 returns in his first 7 appearances back. Like Karamoko Dembele, it is also the only significant injury that Poku has had so far, and it didn't appear to put plenty of other clubs off of signing him, but it will be an obvious watch out for QPR given our injury crisis last season. As a player, there are some other areas that he can improve in too, and they're not dissimilar to Dembele either. The biggest of all is his defensive awareness, because while he's very willing to press and track up top, he can sometimes lose his runner and switch off when possession turns over. That off-the-ball discipline is crucial in the upper tiers of English football, and something I imagine Steve Bold will be very useful in instilling this summer. Offensively, one of his weaker areas is his crossing, so he will be very at home at QPR. Last season, he had a shockingly low 13.3% crossing accuracy, which makes it quite impressive that he bagged so many returns, though it is evidence that he's not your classic get-to-the-byline and cross winger. He wants to drive into the box himself and cut back or have a shot of his own, or he'll opt for an extra touch like Chair does. His crossing shouldn't be too much of an issue next season given we're unlikely to be relying on crosses into the box under Stefan, but it would give him another string to his bow if that can be developed this summer. So, what do you think? As you can probably tell, like many, I'm pretty excited about this one, and that's for a few reasons. For one, we seem to have actually sorted ourselves a right winger with end product. You can say all you like about Paul Smith's work rate, but there's no denying that we've been short on goals and assists in this area of the pitch since Chris Willock left, and Poku looks like the perfect remedy. It also allows Smith, who spent much of last season as our only right winger until Yang joined on loan, to be rotated and used as an impact sub, a role he was especially useful in 2 seasons ago. Then there's the fact that just like Mbenge, we've brought in another player that already has plenty of EFL experience. At only 23, Poku has more than 200 appearances to his name already across League 2, League 1 and the Championship, and having spent his first season at Peterborough in this division, he will be fully aware of the step up required. As many have already pointed out, after recruiting heavily from overseas last summer, this seems to be a deliberate move, and it gives us a good chance of our new recruits not needing half a season to get up to scratch. And of course, biggest of all, there's the fact that we've beaten many other very appealing clubs to his signature, most of which would have been able to offer substantially higher wages. Early rumours are that he's been offered 20 grand a week by QPR, which is ultimately a necessary evil to keep ourselves in the competition. But the reality is, most of them, particularly Glasgow Rangers, would have been capable of doubling that if they really wanted to. That must mean that at the end of it all, money aside, Poku was convinced that this was a good destination for him to come to and take the next big step in his career. Otherwise, he would have gone elsewhere. According to Christian Nori, QPR have been trying to sign him for 4 years, and this time we succeeded. Poku himself says that the project QPR are building excites him, and that Julian Stéphane's clarity about where he fits in as a player and where he thinks he can influence the game are what really attracted him. Now, you can be skeptical about phrases like the project, but ultimately these comments and his decision to join QPR are continued small signs that the club is moving towards this model of bringing in young, exciting talent, selling them on for profit, and repeating that cycle. That model in itself is nothing new or revolutionary in football. It's one QPR thought they'd stumbled into with the sale of Eze, but have never quite replicated since. But the reality is, it's a model that is essential for clubs like QPR to become sustainable and to be able to dream bigger than just finishing 16th. It's a model we started to very quickly demonstrate last season, with the likes of Dembele, Varane and Morgan all getting considerable playing time in the first team, and already with Poku, it's giving us a competitive edge in beating clubs with far stronger financial power. If Poku is the real deal, I don't think he'll be with us for very long, but that in itself will be another clear indicator that we are moving in the right direction. Right, anyway, that's all from me. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this signing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this transfer deep dive and you're new to Hoopsa, please consider hitting like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again next time. Cheers!